Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Avila, and I am the Berkeley Hope Scholars Financial Aid Counselor. And joining me is my colleague Rebecca Borges, Berkeley Hope Scholars Academic Achievement Counselor, and we will be presenting the BHS Financial Aid New Student webinar. And I should have started off with welcome to Cal. Welcome to Cal. We're happy to have y'all here. And we're going to get started with our presentation. These next few slides will be focusing on the starting point when you, excuse me, actually, this is our team. So we have Charlie King Beavers, our program director. Again, Rebecca is our academic achievement counselor, and su servidor Miguel Avila. I am the financial aid counselor here with Berkeley Hope Scholars Program. And like I was mentioning earlier, this program supports, uh, we have supportive connections with holistic advising, mental health counseling, mentorship, community events, peer advisors. On the financial aid end, we go through counseling, move-in packages, finals week care packages, financial aid scholarships, and emergency funding. And lastly, we have success programming that focuses on enrichment workshops, transition courses, priority course enrollment, priority year-round housing, and satellite food pantry. And we're going to use as a starting point what you all look at in terms of logging into the system. It's Cal Central. Cal Central is comprised of academic, billing, registration, and financial aid information and resources. Here you can go over and review your admissions information, financial aid, residency, and billing. And so, reminder about you, if you're classified as an independent student, you want to double check that your status is accurate. And so you can do that through this portal. Another thing to keep in mind is we want to make sure that you do review your tasks. So anything that's outstanding, feel free to check in with us or any of our partner offices just to make sure everything's all good. One thing I did want to note as well, as of right now, um, if you go to my academics, there's under status and holds, it says not officially registered. If you still see that after you're enrolled, that's okay. That just means that your fees have not been paid yet. So we'll go over what that means next. So your registration fees have been assessed as of today for the fall 2024 term. It's okay to have a fee. As long as you submitted your aid application, your financial aid is scheduled to pay out and disperse on August 19th. And by that time, you will be considered a registered student. That just means that you don't have any holds on your account and that your tuition and registration costs have been paid for by your financial aid at that time or out of pocket. If there is any excess money after your payment has been made, you will get a refund within 5 business days. We do advise that you enroll in direct deposit. That way your refund is deposited directly into your bank account. If you don't enroll by the time the refunds are generated, your refund check will be mailed to the local address on file in Cal Student Central. Now we're going to go over residency. For our independent students, the component for residency is that you must establish physical presence in California on a continuous basis for at least 366 days. And that's immediately prior to the determination date, the first day of instruction. It may not be established in absentia, and the prior residence must have been relinquished. You must be able to demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that you have been continuously present in California physically. During that time frame, you can be absent from California for a total of 6 weeks. If you exceed 6 weeks of absence, a resident classification will not be granted. You also must establish legal ties to California by acquiring all applicable governmental evidence of intent by the relevant deadlines and relinquishing ties to the previous place of residence. For example, obtain a California driver's license or state ID by the deadline. Register a vehicle in California if you own and use a vehicle. Register to vote. file a California state income tax, file an out-of-state income tax return as a non-resident or party resident on income earned prior to arriving in California as well. Intent is not limited to the terms here, but I would advise, and we advise, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us, but also you can contact our Residence Affairs Unit at orres@berkeley.edu. Now we're going to go over priority action items that we consider are most important at this particular moment on the to-do list that we have for you. First and foremost, we want to make sure that you apply for financial aid. If you haven't done so already, you use one application and a GPA verification form to be considered for all need-based grants and scholarships at Berkeley. This is an annual application. You can either submit the FAFSA or the California Dream Act, and we've listed the links below. We will be sharing these slides, so if you click on the links, they will lead to the actual websites that are listed. Next, after submitting the aid application, you may be selected for a process called verification. It's a process required by the Department of Education and the California Student Aid Commission that is intended to improve the accuracy of the information provided on your aid application. We cannot disperse federal or state aid until the verification process is complete. To see if you've been selected for verification, you want to go to My Finances section of CalCentral, click on the details link in the financial aid and scholarship section, then set up your account on our financial aid forms website. And if you see here, this is more or less where you would find the verification task in the My Finances section. And while you're being selected for verification, your financial aid is in a conditional status and will not disperse. We've included the link for our financial aid forms website below, where you can not only access verifications, but you can also get access to a SAP appeal, student aid index appeals, and cores as well. We also wanted to bring up academic participation. Academic participation is where the Financial Aid and Scholarships Office is required to comply with federal requirements established by the Department of Ed to verify that you are participating in all of your courses to maintain your eligibility for federal financial aid. To do so, the university has implemented a reading assignment on academic integrity, which you must complete in each course to confirm your participation. You can complete the academic integrity assignments for all your courses as soon as possible at surveys.berkeley.edu. If not completed, your aid will be adjusted. This will vary based on the type of aid that you have. For example, Pell Grant and Federal Student Direct Loans. Now we're going to go on to Golden Bear Orientation. Golden Bear Orientation is the third phase of the Golden Bear experience, which begins in person on campus on Wednesday, August 21st, and ends Monday, August 26th. Students are assessed a fee of $475 for this orientation. In most cases, it is covered by financial aid. You can check your aid package to see the award, New Student Award. If you do not plan on attending, contact New Student Services at 510-642-7733 or through email at nss@berkeley.edu by July 21st. If you do not attend GBO, you want to make sure they remove the fee, as you will not get aid to cover the cost for non-attendance. And now we'll be moving on to the supplementary resources section of our webinar.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about some supplementary resources that are available for all of our Berkeley Hope Scholar students during their transition here. And so first off, we want to talk about our Berkeley Hope Scholars Scholarship, which is $3,000 for our newly admitted student. So automatically in every new student's financial aid package will be this $3,000 scholarship. It is dispersed in halves during the fall and spring. So that'll be 1,500 in the fall, 1,500 in the spring. And then for all continuing years, you'll get $2,000, and that will be $1,000 during the fall and $1,000 during the spring. Now, for our graduate students and our PhD students, it is a total of $6,000, which is also dispersed in halves of $3,000 during the fall and $2,000 during the spring. Next slide, please. Now we also have a BHS emergency fund. And so on top of the Berkeley Hope Scholars Scholarship, we do have an opportunity for folks to ask for a little more aid depending on an emergency that might be coming up or an unexpected non-reoccurring financial distress. And so the process for that, we want to let y'all know about it as soon as possible so that you know this process um, clearly. And so if anything comes up, you know what you can do and how to utilize it. It includes meeting with myself or any of us BHS counselors to talk about what's kind of going on. What is this unexpected financial distress or emergency? So that we can kind of give you an idea of what is covered in the emergency fund application. And then we will direct you to complete the emergency fund application, which is a easy application Google survey where you will upload the bill or the estimate of the bill. And then it is about a 1 to 2 week board reviewing process where our board of folks will review your application and determine yes or no on whether or not you'll be eligible for the emergency funding. Next up, we also have the Chafee Grant, which we encourage all of our students who are eligible to who are eligible for the Chafee Grant to apply for. It is a one application that you're able to complete through the Student Aid Commission, California Student Aid Commission, and every year it is reoccurring. So once you complete it one time, you don't have to complete it again. It gets complete for the following years. It's up to $5,000 per year for 5 years, and you'll, like I said, apply at the Chafee CSAC or the California Student Aid Commission website. Next slide, please. A little bit more about the eligibility. So if you are eligibility, we highly recommend you move forward with this process. If you're not, don't worry about it. And if you have a little bit more questions about it, or you have a little bit more you want to learn about it, definitely reach out to me and schedule an appointment. We can talk more. But the general eligibility requirements are to be a current or former foster youth who was awarded the court living in foster care between the ages of 16 and 18. You have not reached the age of 26 as of July 1st of the award year, and you're enrolled in a vocational school or a college course at least half time, and you're making satisfactory academic progress. We also have the Basic Needs Emergency Support Fund here. And so the Basic Needs Center is the center on campus that is your one-stop shop for anything pertaining to housing assistance, food assistance, financial support. And so they provide holistic support for housing, rental assistance, and CalFresh. And in addition, they do have this emergency support fund for all students to apply for any type of financial support. It's a collaboration between the UC Berkeley's Basic Needs Center and financial aid offices, the Graduate Division, and the ASUC Student Advocates Office. And so all students, graduate or undergraduate, are eligible to apply regardless of documentation or academic status. However, students must be enrolled to apply. So for example, if you are not enrolled in classes, you're not taking current classes, you cannot complete the emergency fund. And so they have a housing security deposit award that is available this summer and that you can apply for this summer term. It's available to, like we said, any student who may or may not have applied for financial aid and who is enrolled for the fall 2024. It looks like completing the Basic Needs Emergency Support Fund application online. And then from there, you will have a financial aid basic needs counselor review it and contact you. The award is budgeted, therefore the student's budget is increased to allocate room for the award, and the current maximum is 1,500, which is determined by the ASUC Housing Security Deposit Oversight Committee and with FASO, or the Financial Aid Department. And so it's especially important that you have your direct deposit set up via your Cal Central, like we mentioned earlier. And so that all of these funding, if you do access any of these supports or these supplementary resources, that money goes directly to you, directly into your bank account, instead of having to deal with a paper mail that will take probably an additional week or two to get to you, or if it's not an accessible address, because it goes to any whatever local address that's on your Cal Central. And so we highly recommend folks just step up ahead of the game and enroll in that direct deposit. Now
Okay,
we also, yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, now we will be going over waiving SHIP, the student health insurance plan. For our dependent students, if you waive SHIP, a health insurance grant waiver is added to your award package. There's no additional aid. So for example, if you waive the health insurance plan, that charge, you will not generate a refund for you or extra support financially. The financial aid office will allocate a waiver in place of the grant. For independent students, you are provided with the funding to cover medical insurance costs up front. You're considered to be self-supporting and take on those costs anyhow. If you happen to waive SHIP, you save on the cost of the plan, and that money that you have will be allocated to you directly. It's not going to be placed with the waiver. Or the waiver will not impact you. You're still going to get the funding to support you. So you want to make sure if you have your own health insurance that you do waive it so that way you're not paying on two plans. We've provided the link below. All waivers received between July 16 and August 15 are subject to a late fee of $75. So we do recommend that you submit that application as soon as possible. Now we're going to go over the student aid index appeal. We recommend doing this. This is really helpful if you're coming in to Cal and let's say you previously worked part-time or full-time and your income reflected on the 22 taxes don't reflect your current situation, especially now since you're a student, and let's say you're working part-time or completely focusing on your studies. We want to make sure that you take advantage of this because upon approval of this appeal, you can lower your student aid index if your circumstances have changed since the 2022 tax year. For example, we can go and look at your 2023 taxes to reflect a lower income for you or your family. We also consider, uh, let's say from the moment that you started your studies at Cal and look at that period as well. It is advised that you submit it if you will no longer be working since you will be starting your studies at Cal. You will not need to submit an appeal for the student aid index if your student aid index is at 0 or at negative 1,500. Now we'll be going over the cost of attendance adjustment requests, or we refer to it as the core. Upon approval, your student budget will be adjusted according to the actual cost of your expenses. For example, rent, transportation, medical expenses, childcare, etc. The benefit of this appeal is that it makes space for outside scholarships or department awards in your award package. We've included supporting documentation examples below. And also, we will have a subsequent webinar on the cost of attendance adjustment requests and the student aid index appeals as well. Here we have a checklist of the priority items and the supplementary resources that we just went over. Now Rebecca will be going over the next slide.
Yeah, and so all of this information, I know it was a lot. All of this information will be shared with all of our new students. But one thing we do want to reiterate is that dropping and withdrawing from any courses may result in a revision of your financial aid awards. So please, please, please always meet with Miguel or myself to assist you before you make any decision of dropping or withdrawing. Um, Next up, it's just another call. Please do not hesitate to touch base with us if you do plan on dropping or if you have any questions. This is our information. And like I said, when I send out this email of the slides with all the links, we'll also share our Calendly links so that you can schedule an appointment with us at any point if you have any additional questions. And then we're going to talk a little bit. Our last slide is just talking about some of our partners. And then we'll get into some questions. So, because I know some folks are already putting in the chat that they have questions, but CE3 is a large program that we sit under as one of many. And so if you have not already taken a look at these other programs that are available for students, we highly recommend to take a look or complete the CE3 questionnaire to see what programs and resources you are eligible for in addition to BHS. Yeah, so thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna stop the recording. We're gonna go into a Q&A session for any individual questions or specific questions.